If you have recently noticed that getting out of a chair takes a little more effort, climbing stairs leaves your legs feeling tired, or you automatically reach for the railing when you walk upstairs, you may have wondered, is this just part of getting older? Sometimes it can be. But it is also worth paying attention to these changes, because your legs are involved in almost everything that keeps you independent. Walking to the kitchen, carrying groceries, standing up from the sofa, getting into a car, and maintaining your balance all depend on your lower body muscles working together. As we age, muscle mass and strength can gradually decline, especially when we become less active. But aging does not mean you are powerless to influence what happens next. Your daily movement, your sleep, your overall health, and especially the quality and amount of food you eat can all play a role in helping you maintain muscle. Think about your muscles like a bank account. Every day, movement and good nutrition make deposits. Long periods of inactivity, poor nutrition, illness, and inadequate recovery can make withdrawals. You do not need to become an athlete to protect your legs. In fact, some of the most useful changes are surprisingly simple. A balanced meal containing enough protein, regular walking, and appropriately challenging strength exercises can work together to support your muscles. And today, we are focusing on 6 foods that can make a practical difference in a healthy eating pattern. These foods are not magic, and no single food can instantly rebuild weak muscles. But they can provide important nutrients your body needs to maintain muscle and support normal movement. The first food may already be sitting in your refrigerator, and one of the others is often overlooked because people do not traditionally think of it as a muscle-supporting food. Before we get there, though, it helps to understand why your legs can gradually lose strength in the first place. Sekion 2. Why your legs can feel weaker with age. One of the biggest misunderstandings about aging is the idea that weaker legs are simply unavoidable. Your body does change over time, but the amount and speed of that change can vary greatly from person to person. Muscles respond to what you ask them to do. When you regularly walk, climb stairs, carry objects, stand, squat, or perform resistance exercises, your muscles receive a message that they are still needed. When activity drops, that message becomes weaker. This is particularly important after an illness, an injury, or a period of sitting more than usual. Even a relatively short period of inactivity can make everyday movements feel harder. There is another piece of the puzzle: nutrition. Your muscles are constantly being maintained and repaired. Protein supplies, amino acids, which are the small building blocks your body uses to maintain muscle tissue. As we get older, maintaining adequate protein intake becomes particularly important because older muscles may not respond to small amounts of protein as efficiently as younger muscles do. That does not mean you need enormous portions of meat or expensive protein powders. It means spreading nutritious protein sources throughout your meals can be a sensible strategy. Your bones matter too. Strong muscles work with your skeleton to help you move safely, and nutrients such as calcium and vitamin D support normal bone health and muscle function. Think of your body like a bridge. The bones are part of the structure, the muscles provide the movement, and the nervous system coordinates everything. If one part is neglected, the entire system can become less efficient. This is why the goal should not simply be bigger muscles. The real goal is useful strength, the ability to stand, walk, climb, carry, and maintain independence. And there is encouraging news. Your body can continue responding to appropriate exercise and good nutrition later in life. Research suggests that older adults can improve strength with suitable resistance training and adequate nutrition. So instead of asking, how can I stop aging? A better question is, how can I give my body the resources it needs as I age? That brings us to the nutritional foundation behind the foods we are about to discuss. Sekion 3. The nutrition formula behind stronger legs. When people hear the words stronger muscles, they often think immediately about protein. Protein is important, but it is only one part of the picture. Your muscles operate in a much larger system, and that system needs a variety of nutrients. Protein provides the raw materials used to maintain muscle tissue. Calcium helps support normal muscle contraction and is also essential for maintaining strong bones. Vitamin D plays an important role in calcium metabolism and normal muscle function. Magnesium is involved in hundreds of processes in the body, including normal nerve and muscle function. Potassium helps regulate fluid balance and supports normal nerve and muscle activity. Healthy fats contribute energy and help your body absorb certain fat-soluble vitamins. Then there are carbohydrates, which provide readily available energy for activity. Fiber supports digestive and metabolic health, while fruits and vegetables provide a broad range of vitamins, minerals, and other beneficial plant compounds. This is why I do not want you to search for one miracle muscle food. A healthy diet works more like an orchestra. Different nutrients have different jobs, but they work together. Imagine trying to build a house with only bricks. Bricks are important, but you also need wood, tools, wiring, and a strong foundation. Protein is one of the bricks, but your body needs the entire system. Another common mistake is assuming that eating more protein automatically makes weak legs stronger. It does not. Nutrition provides the materials, while physical activity gives your muscles a reason to maintain and adapt. For someone who is already active, improving food quality and protein intake may support the training process. For someone who spends most of the day sitting, simply adding protein without increasing movement may not produce the result they expect. And if weakness is caused by an underlying illness, medication effect, nerve problem, or another medical issue, changing your diet alone may not address the cause. The good news is that these principles do not require complicated meal plans. Many useful nutrients are found in ordinary foods you can recognize and prepare at home. So let's start with one of the simplest options. It is inexpensive, versatile, and provides a particularly useful source of high-quality protein. Esequan 4. Food number 1. Eggs. Eggs are one of the easiest foods to include when you are trying to build a more muscle-supportive eating pattern. They provide high-quality protein, meaning they contain all of the essential amino acids your body needs from food. Those amino acids are used to build and maintain proteins throughout the body, including muscle tissue. This is especially relevant as we get older, because maintaining muscle becomes increasingly important for mobility and independence. But the value of eggs is not just that they contain protein. They are also convenient. You can prepare them in minutes, and they can fit into breakfast, lunch, or dinner. A simple breakfast of eggs with vegetables and whole grain toast is very different nutritionally from a breakfast consisting mainly of refined carbohydrates and added sugar. The goal is not to label one food good and another bad. The goal is to create meals that keep you nourished and satisfied. You could boil eggs ahead of time and keep them ready for a quick meal. You could add an egg to vegetables, make an omelet, or combine eggs with beans for a more substantial meal. If you enjoy eggs, they can be a practical way to increase the protein content of your meals without making cooking complicated. However, nutrition should always be individualized. People with particular medical conditions or dietary restrictions should follow the advice of their healthcare professional regarding their overall diet. And remember, eggs are not a treatment for muscle weakness. They are simply one useful food that can help you meet your nutritional needs. Here is the bigger lesson. When older adults unintentionally eat too little protein, replacing a low-protein meal with a balanced meal containing a protein source can be a practical improvement. You also want variety. Eating eggs every morning does not mean you can ignore vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, or other protein sources. Think of eggs as one tool in your toolbox. They can help you build a stronger nutritional foundation, but your muscles need more than protein alone. In fact, the next food combines protein with another nutrient category that becomes especially important as we age. And unlike some trendy health foods, it is something many people have eaten for generations. Section 5. Food number 2. Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is another convenient option because it can provide a meaningful amount of protein while also supplying calcium. That combination matters because maintaining muscle and maintaining bone health are closely connected to mobility as we grow older. Imagine your skeleton as the frame of a house and your muscles as the system that moves that frame. You want both parts of the system to be cared for. Calcium is well known for its role in bones, but it also participates in normal muscle contraction. Greek yogurt can therefore fit nicely into a meal or snack when you are trying to support both protein intake and overall bone health. One practical advantage is that yogurt requires almost no preparation. You can combine plain Greek yogurt with berries, chopped nuts, seeds, or a small amount of fruit. You can also use it as a protein-rich snack when you might otherwise reach for cookies or highly processed foods. If you are watching added sugar, check the nutrition label and consider plain or lower sugar varieties. That does not mean flavored yogurt is forbidden. It simply means you should know what you are buying. For people who have difficulty digesting lactose, lactose-free yogurt may be an option, depending on individual tolerance. Again, the goal is not perfection. The goal is finding foods you can consistently eat. One of the most useful changes after 50 is often not dramatic. It might simply be replacing a low-protein snack with something that provides more nutritional value. Over time, these small choices can add up. And there is another reason yogurt is worth mentioning. It reminds us that muscle health is not just about muscles. Bones, nerves, nutrition, balance, and physical activity all work together. If you want to stay mobile, you need to think about the whole system. But protein and calcium are still not the complete story. The third food brings in another group of nutrients that can fit beautifully into a balanced diet, especially if you enjoy fish. And this one may offer something beyond protein that many people overlook. Section 6. Food number 3. Salmon and other fatty fish. Fatty fish, especially salmon, can be an excellent addition to a healthy aging diet because it combines several useful nutrients in one food. Salmon provides high-quality protein, which can contribute to the amino acids your body needs for maintaining muscle. It also provides omega-3 fatty acids, a type of healthy fat that has been widely studied for its role in overall health. Some fatty fish also provide vitamin D, although the amount can vary depending on the type of fish and portion. Vitamin D is important for normal bone and muscle function, which makes it particularly relevant when we are talking about mobility and healthy aging. Now, I want to make an important distinction. Eating salmon does not mean you will suddenly develop stronger legs. There is no food that works that way. Instead, think of salmon as a nutrient-dense component of an overall eating pattern that supports the body while you stay physically active. You could bake a salmon fillet and serve it with vegetables and a whole grain side. You could add canned salmon to a salad or use it in a simple meal when fresh fish is not convenient. Canned fish can sometimes be a budget-friendly option, although it is wise to compare labels for sodium and choose products that fit your dietary needs. If you do not enjoy salmon, other fish can provide valuable nutrients as well. The important idea is variety. Many experts recommend including fish as part of a balanced diet, with choices guided by nutritional value, personal preference, and local dietary guidance regarding mercury exposure. There is also a practical lesson here for older adults. Meals do not need to be complicated to be nutritious. A piece of fish, a serving of vegetables, and a sensible carbohydrate can provide a much broader range of nutrients than a heavily processed convenience meal. And notice what is happening with our 6 foods. We are not simply collecting random superfoods. We are building a pattern. Eggs can help with protein. Yogurt adds protein and calcium. Fish contributes protein and healthy fats, with vitamin D in some varieties. Each food brings something different to the table. But what if you do not eat much animal protein? Don't worry, because the 4th food gives you another practical option. It is affordable, filling, versatile, and often deserves far more attention when we talk about healthy aging. Section 7. Food number 4. Beans and lentils. Beans and lentils are among the most practical foods you can use when building a muscle-supportive diet, especially if you want more plant-based choices. Lentils, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, and other legumes provide protein, fiber, and a range of minerals. They are also versatile enough to fit into many traditional meals. You can add lentils to soup, beans to a salad, chickpeas to a vegetable dish, or legumes to a stew or curry. For someone trying to improve their diet without spending a great deal of money, this can be especially useful. Protein does not have to come from expensive foods. Another advantage is fiber. Fiber helps support digestive health and can contribute to a feeling of fullness after meals. Beans and lentils also provide carbohydrates, which can supply energy for daily activity. Some older adults make the mistake of thinking that if they want stronger muscles, they should eat almost nothing except protein. That is not necessary. Your body needs a balanced diet, and carbohydrates can be part of that balance. If you prefer plant-based eating, legumes can make an important contribution to your overall protein intake. You do not need to become vegetarian to benefit from them. They can simply become one of several protein sources you rotate through the week. If canned beans are more convenient, they can be perfectly practical. Rinsing them can help reduce some of the sodium. If beans cause digestive discomfort, start with smaller portions and increase gradually if appropriate. Individual tolerance matters. And remember, you do not have to eat every nutrient in every meal. What matters is the overall pattern across the day and week. This is also where the idea of expensive supplements versus ordinary food becomes important. Many people are constantly being told they need a special powder, pill, or product to protect their muscles. Sometimes supplements are medically appropriate, particularly when a deficiency is identified, but they should not replace a nutritious diet. A bowl of lentils may look ordinary, but ordinary foods can provide extraordinary nutritional value when used consistently. Yet there is still another category missing from our list: So far, we have focused heavily on protein and other nutrients. The fifth food shifts the focus toward vitamins and minerals, and it is one that you can add to meals without completely changing the way you eat. Section 8. Food number 5. Leafy greens. Leafy green vegetables such as spinach, kale, collard greens, and other dark greens can contribute a wide range of vitamins and minerals to your diet. Depending on the specific vegetable, they may provide nutrients such as vitamin K, folate, magnesium, potassium, calcium, and other beneficial compounds. They also provide fiber while generally being relatively low in calories. But I want to remove one common misconception right away. You do not need to eat a giant bowl of raw salad every day to benefit from vegetables. If raw greens are difficult for you to enjoy, cook them. Add spinach to eggs, stir greens into soup, mix vegetables into beans, or serve cooked greens alongside a protein-rich main dish. The goal is not to create a perfect Instagram meal. The goal is to make nutritious food part of your normal routine. Leafy greens also demonstrate why variety matters. Different vegetables contain different combinations of nutrients, so relying on one superfood is unnecessary. Rotate what you enjoy and what is available. If you are already eating several vegetables throughout the week, you are on the right track. There is one important note for people taking certain medications or managing specific medical conditions. Dietary changes should be discussed with your healthcare professional when necessary. For example, some people taking medications affected by vitamin K intake may need consistent rather than dramatically changing amounts of leafy greens. The point is not to fear vegetables. It is to understand that personal medical circumstances matter. For most people, though, adding more vegetables is a straightforward way to improve overall diet quality. And there is something psychologically useful about this approach. Instead of thinking, I have to completely change my diet, ask, what can I add? Adding a handful of greens to breakfast, a vegetable to lunch, or cooked greens to dinner feels much more manageable. Small additions can gradually change the nutritional quality of your meals without making you feel deprived. Now we have one final food to reveal. It is small, easy to store, and often used as a snack or topping. But it provides healthy fats along with minerals that play roles in normal muscle and nerve function. And because it is calorie-dense, there is a smart way to use it. Section 9. Food number 6. Nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds can be a useful final addition to a muscle-supportive eating pattern because they provide healthy fats, some protein, and minerals such as magnesium. Almonds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, chia seeds, and similar foods can be sprinkled over yogurt, oatmeal, vegetables, or salads. They can also make a convenient snack when you need something simple between meals. Magnesium deserves particular attention because it participates in normal muscle and nerve function. But again, we should avoid turning one nutrient into a miracle. Eating pumpkin seeds does not automatically eliminate muscle weakness. What it can do is help contribute to an overall diet that supplies a range of nutrients your body needs. There is another practical consideration. Nuts and seeds are calorie-dense. That is not necessarily a problem. In fact, those calories come largely from nutritious fats. But a small handful can contain much more energy than people realize. So the goal is sensible portions rather than eating directly from a large bag without paying attention. Unsalted varieties may be helpful for people who need to limit sodium, although individual needs vary. People with nut or seed allergies should obviously avoid foods that are unsafe for them. One of the best things about nuts and seeds is how easily they can improve an otherwise simple meal. A bowl of plain yogurt becomes more satisfying with berries and a small amount of nuts. Oatmeal can be topped with seeds. A vegetable salad can become more substantial with beans and a sprinkle of seeds. These combinations demonstrate an important principle. You do not need a complicated recipe to build a nutritious meal. You need complementary foods. By now, we have covered 6 practical options: eggs, Greek yogurt, fatty fish such as salmon, beans and lentils, leafy greens, and nuts or seeds. Each one contributes something different. But there is a trap I do not want you to fall into. You could eat all 6 of these foods regularly and still struggle with leg strength if you ignore the habits that tell your muscles to stay strong. That is why the next part may be even more important than the food list itself. Let's look at the mistakes that can quietly work against your progress. Section 10, 5 mistakes that can keep your legs weak. The first mistake is simply not eating enough protein across the day. Some older adults eat a small breakfast, a light lunch, and then a larger dinner, without realizing that their total protein intake may be lower than they need. This does not mean everyone needs the same amount, and people with kidney disease or other medical conditions may need individualized guidance. But for many healthy adults, spreading protein-containing foods across meals can be a useful strategy. The second mistake is assuming that walking alone is enough to preserve all aspects of strength. Walking is excellent for general activity and cardiovascular health, but muscles also benefit from resistance exercise. Standing from a chair repeatedly, using resistance bands, lifting appropriate weights, or following a supervised strength training program can give muscles a different kind of challenge. The third mistake is sitting for most of the day because you completed one short workout. 30 minutes of exercise does not necessarily cancel out an entire day of inactivity. If you are able, small movement breaks can help you avoid spending hour after hour in the same position. Walk around the house, stand while talking on the phone, stretch, or perform safe movements recommended by your healthcare professional. The fourth mistake is believing supplements are automatically better than food. A supplement can be useful when a healthcare professional identifies a deficiency or a specific need, but more is not always better. Taking multiple products without understanding their purpose can create unnecessary expense and sometimes risks. Food first is often a sensible starting point. The fifth mistake is perhaps the most important: ignoring persistent or worsening weakness. If your legs gradually become weaker, if you begin falling, or if everyday activities become significantly harder, do not simply tell yourself, "I'm getting old." There may be many possible explanations, including inactivity, nutritional problems, medication effects, nerve disorders, circulation problems, hormonal conditions, or other medical issues. A healthcare professional can help determine what is actually happening. This is where we need to separate two ideas. Healthy aging is about accepting that your body changes while still taking action where you have influence. You cannot stop the calendar, but you can often influence how active you remain, what you eat, how well you sleep, and whether you seek help when something changes. And there is a reassuring point here. Progress does not have to mean becoming dramatically stronger overnight. It may mean standing a little more confidently, walking a little farther, or feeling more capable during ordinary tasks. But before you decide that your weakness is simply a nutrition problem, there are certain symptoms you should never ignore. Section 11. When weak legs may need medical attention. Not every change in leg strength is caused by aging or diet, and that distinction matters. If weakness appears suddenly, becomes severe, or affects one side of the body, you should seek prompt medical attention rather than trying to fix it with food. Sudden weakness accompanied by facial drooping, trouble speaking, confusion, or other neurological symptoms can be an emergency. Likewise, chest pain, severe shortness of breath, fainting, or other serious symptoms require urgent medical evaluation. Even when symptoms are not sudden, persistent weakness deserves attention if it interferes with normal activities. Repeated falls are another reason to speak with a healthcare professional. Falling is not simply an inconvenience. It can lead to fractures, fear of movement, and a cycle of becoming less active. Significant swelling, severe unexplained pain, numbness, major changes in sensation, or difficulty controlling your legs also deserve appropriate evaluation. Sometimes the underlying cause can be relatively straightforward, such as inadequate nutrition or deconditioning after an illness. In other cases, weakness may be related to medications, nerve problems, metabolic conditions, joint issues, or other health concerns. The important thing is not to guess. Your doctor may ask when the weakness started, whether it affects one or both legs, whether you have pain or numbness, what medications you take, how active you have been, and whether you have experienced weight loss or other changes. These details can help guide the evaluation. There is also an important emotional point. Many older adults hesitate to mention weakness because they worry that the doctor will simply say, "That's aging." But significant changes deserve to be discussed. You are not complaining by asking about a change in your ability to walk or stand. You are protecting your independence. At the same time, if your weakness is mild and there are no concerning symptoms, you do not need to become frightened. You can focus on the things within your control: nutritious meals, adequate protein, regular movement, appropriate strength training, sleep, hydration, and medical follow-up when needed. Think of today's 6 foods as part of that foundation, not as a replacement for evaluation. Now let's turn the information into something you can actually use. Instead of wondering how to fit 6 foods into your life, let's create a simple daily pattern that makes healthy choices easier. Section 12. The simple strong legs daily routine. A useful routine does not have to be complicated. Start your morning with a meal that contains a meaningful source of protein. Eggs with vegetables and whole grain toast can work, or Greek yogurt with fruit and a small portion of nuts can be another option. The exact meal is less important than creating a consistent habit of including nutritious foods. Around lunchtime, think about combining a protein source with vegetables and a sensible carbohydrate. Lentils or beans can be an excellent choice, especially when paired with vegetables and whole grains. If you enjoy fish, you might choose salmon or another suitable fish at dinner and serve it with vegetables and a balanced side. Between meals, yogurt, fruit, nuts, or seeds can be practical choices depending on your nutritional needs. But food is only half of the picture. Your muscles also need movement. If your healthcare professional says exercise is appropriate for you, include regular walking and some form of resistance training. You do not have to begin with heavy weights. Even controlled sit-to-stand exercises, light resistance bands, or appropriately selected bodyweight exercises can provide a starting point. If balance is a concern, exercise near a stable support or work with a qualified professional. Start at a level that is challenging but safe, and gradually progress rather than trying to do too much on the first day. Hydration matters too. Dehydration can make you feel tired and can affect how you feel during activity, although individual fluid needs vary. Sleep should not be forgotten. Your body uses rest as part of its recovery process, so consistently poor sleep can make it harder to stay active and may affect appetite and overall well-being. Finally, break up long periods of sitting whenever possible. A few minutes of movement several times throughout the day can be more realistic than waiting for one perfect workout. Now imagine what this could look like several weeks from now. Not a dramatic overnight transformation. Instead, imagine consistently eating nourishing meals, moving your body, practicing appropriate strength exercises, and paying attention to how you feel. Perhaps getting out of your favorite chair feels a little more comfortable. Perhaps walking through the grocery store feels easier. Those are meaningful improvements because they translate into independence. The goal is not perfection. The goal is consistency. And now, let's bring the entire message together so you can remember the 6 foods and, more importantly, the principle behind them. 6-13, the 6 food recap plus final message. Let's quickly bring everything together. The first food was eggs, a convenient source of high-quality protein that can fit easily into breakfast, lunch, or dinner. The second was Greek yogurt, which can provide protein along with calcium and makes a simple snack or meal component. The third was salmon and other fatty fish, which provide protein and healthy omega-3 fats, with some varieties also supplying vitamin D. The fourth was beans and lentils, affordable foods that can contribute plant protein, fiber, and important minerals. The fifth was leafy greens, which add a variety of vitamins, minerals, fiber, and other beneficial plant compounds to your meals. And the sixth was nuts and seeds, which provide healthy fats, some protein, and minerals such as magnesium. But if you remember only one thing from this video, let it be this: no single food can rebuild your legs by itself. Stronger, healthier aging comes from a pattern. Your muscles need adequate nutrition, but they also need regular movement and appropriate resistance exercise. Your bones need attention. Your body needs enough rest and hydration. And when weakness is new, severe, worsening, or interfering with daily life, you need to find out why rather than automatically blaming age. The good news is that it is never too early to start taking better care of the strength you still have. And for many people, it is not too late to make meaningful improvements. You do not need an expensive diet. You do not need a kitchen full of supplements. You do not need to become a professional athlete. Start with meals you can actually maintain. Add a protein-rich food. Include vegetables. Rotate your protein sources. Choose whole or minimally processed foods more often. Get your body moving in ways that are safe for you. Then repeat those habits tomorrow and the day after that. Healthy aging is rarely about one dramatic decision. It is usually the result of hundreds of small decisions that become normal parts of your life. So the next time you stand up from a chair, walk up a staircase, or carry a bag of groceries, remember that those everyday movements are opportunities to protect your independence. Your legs are not just muscles. They are your connection to the life you want to keep living. If this video helped you understand how food and movement work together to support healthy legs, share in the comments which of these 6 foods you already eat and which one you would like to add more often. And if you want more simple, evidence-aware health information for healthy aging, consider subscribing and staying with us for the next video.